have already confessed these things to close people in my life, and I really don't need to be confessing them here on YouTube, but I'm choosing to. Doing so good, Judah. Little hack, wear your workout clothes under a little hoodie. You happy boy. We are being majorly humbled over here today.
Oh, cutest little guy ever, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, Bubba's.
Should we set you down on your play mat? Oh, yeah. Oh. Hi. Oh, do we want to do some tummy time and you can look at Mimi? What?
It's like pretty cozy.
Look at, I don't need to get onto my back.
You start on his stomach or his
It's his tummy. Look at, oh, you're getting so close. You're getting so close, Bubba's. That's Judah, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you talking, Bubba's? Tell me everything.
Hello, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be taking you along for a little day in the life vlog today. We had such a good night last night. So Judah only woke up to feed one time, which was amazing because we've kind of been back to like the feeding every 3 hours thing. But he woke up I think around 2. And then he did wake up around 6 again, and I wasn't sure if that was gonna be like the morning start to the day. And so I actually ended up getting in like a little quiet time on my phone while he was feeding at 6, just because, again, I didn't know if he was gonna go back to sleep. And I'm trying to learn to capitalize on that first opportunity in the day to spend intentional time with God, because if I don't, then sometimes the day will just pass and I don't get that opportunity. But after his 6 a.m. feed, he did actually end up going back to sleep. That's when Tyler gets up to go to work. And so when he was getting up to get ready, he just brought Judah's little like snuggle me pillow into bed with me so that we could both get a little bit of sleep. So Judah ended up sleeping until like 7:45. I got up around 7. Hi, Bubba's. He's in his little rocker behind the camera right now, staring up at Mama, huh? But Judah slept till about 7:45. I got up about 7 to shower and do more of a quiet time. But all that to say, I have so much energy today because we got so much more sleep than normal last night. So this is amazing. I don't even need this coffee. It's decaf, but it's delicious. This is the raw milk agave nectar and cinnamon. Yeah, it's so yummy, huh? You don't get to have it yet, but it's so yummy. So before we head to the chiropractor, I'm gonna eat my breakfast that I just made, and then I also have our nursery tour going live today. So I got my little standing up office situation over here. Gonna get that all posted. Then gonna get Judah Man changed, and we're gonna head out. But thanks so much for joining me today, and we'll see what the day holds. You happy boy. You happy boy. Ow. Little hack, wear your workout clothes under a little hoodie to run errands. Gonna wear this to the chiropractor and to do groceries so that when I get home, it's one less thing to do, one less barrier to working out, and also just like saves on time because I'm working on the time constraint of his naps. So it's a little outfit of the day. Now for the only outfit of the day that actually matters. Let's be real. Mr. Judah, look at this little bear and this cute sweet boy. Hi. Yeah.
happy boy. You happy boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are being majorly humbled over here today because literally since the day Judah was born, our routine has been that we go to the chiropractor, and then on the way home, he'll fall asleep. I'll get groceries for the week, and then when I get home, I can get my workout in and take a quick shower. Literally every single time he has slept enough for me to be able to do all of those things. Sometimes I'll try to plan in other things as well and get ambitious. Like I think I even mentioned one time I was gonna plan to try to film after all of that. Don't know why I thought that was possible. That did not happen. So sometimes I'll try to add in other things and it doesn't happen, but at least the groceries, the quick little workout that's like 20 to 30 minutes and a quick 10-minute rinse off shower, I can always, or I have always been able to make happen. And of course today, on the day I'm gonna film it and show it, little Mr. Man is wide awake, as you can see. Say hi, show them how awake you are. And we were driving back and he was just not falling asleep. And then I got home and I was trying to get him to go to sleep and it was just not happening. He just decided that this nap, he just didn't want to take it. And it was humbling because, you know, in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna have this all, you know, get my little workout in here. I'm gonna do a little grocery haul and show what I got for groceries for this week. And then he wasn't going to sleep and it was upsetting that plan. And here I had been thinking like, man, I've really been growing in patience with, you know, knowing that things aren't gonna go to plan and just accepting that. And I think what I realized is I have grown in patience in the sense of like, all the other things I feel like, or all the other parts of the day, I know may or may not happen according to plan. But because this part of the day, this little part of our routine has always gone to plan, I've come to rely on it. And so I expect it to go the way that I want it to go. And it was a humbling moment to realize like, I don't think I've really grown in patience. I've just grown to learn which parts of the day are unpredictable and I accept those, and which parts of the day have been predictable for the most part up until this point, and I still expect those to go the way I want them to go. And so it was a humbling little reminder, just as I felt frustration inside of me that my plan wasn't gonna happen, which sounds so silly, that God is still working out a lot of me. But you know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is way more helpful to put in a vlog, a day where things don't go according to plan, than a day where they perfectly go according to plan. Because I know just as a new mom, it's really easy to compare yourself and you're just trying to figure out all the rhythms and everything. And I feel like if I were watching a vlog where things went perfectly according to plan, I would be tempted to compare myself to that. And so God's working in all of this. We all have those days and we're all learning and growing. And I realized how silly it was for me to feel that frustration of like, my plan isn't going to happen, because it's really so simple to switch things around. Instead of getting in a little workout now during his nap and showering and getting ready, because we have our like small group for our church tonight, instead of doing that, we're just gonna go about our day. We're gonna try for a nap in the carrier. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then I will do my quick little workout. I think it's only 20 minutes today after our small group tonight when Tyler is home and can help me, because the small group doesn't get over too late. I think we're usually home around 8 o'clock. There's what happened. I am gonna go ahead and try to lay out our groceries and give you a grocery haul, just because I love watching grocery hauls in vlogs. And so if you do too, here's the content you want. Here is the little grocery haul. It's actually quite a bit bigger than it normally is because 2 of my best friends are coming to visit this weekend. I literally could not be more excited, but we're all trying to be better about not eating out as much. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of like stuff to make for dinners, and then also for us to make for lunches and take and go as we go and do things. We're planning to go to the Carlsbad flower fields, which it's a little bit north of San Diego, but there's just these beautiful fields of flowers. I believe they're ranunculus, probably saying that wrong, but I actually went there like, I don't even know, 6 years ago maybe, and took pictures there and used those pictures with a blog post I wrote. And it was the very first blog post I ever wrote on singleness before I made any videos about it, so before I had my YouTube channel. And so I'll link the blog post down below if you want to check it out, but I'm really excited to go back. That was a whole side tangent, but we have some fun things planned for when they're visiting. So if you want to see photos from any of that, make sure you're following along on Instagram. But hence the little bit of a larger grocery haul, because we will have guests. So let's take you through what we got.
Okay, I'll start with this section because it's sort of like staples we get every week. These are kombuchas. This is the strawberry lemonade flavor that they only sell at Trader Joe's. Tyler's obsessed with those. I never drink like a whole one, but sometimes I'll have some of his. And so I love those too. Also, side note, I usually go to Trader Joe's and Sprouts. So there's a mixture of both in here. Some avocados, spinach. I'm gonna throw this in the freezer for smoothies because I'm running low. Sourdough. This is the Dave's Killer Bread. I love this for like almond butter toast or avocado toast. And then I also got it because I got some lunch meat and cheese for sandwiches for us to take. We were out of butter. Eggs, you know I love eggs. Back here we've got our milk, raw milk. If you know, you know. These are the best thing ever. They're the dark chocolate peanut butter cups. I honestly do not buy these typically because I don't have self-control, but since the two friends are coming, these are what Anna and I used to be my roomie if you've watched the channel for a while, but we would get these all the time, and so I feel like I just need to have them when they're here because they're just, you know, what we have for our girls' nights. And then I like to get some of the fresh soups that Trader Joe has. They didn't have the one that I normally get. I normally get like a lentil one, but I decided I would try this chicken ginger miso one, and then this one is a minestrone. Again, that's the lunch meat stuff. Strawberries. These yogurts Tyler loves. I normally get more, but we still had a bunch in the fridge, so I just grabbed a couple. Collagen for smoothies because I just ran out. Car oranges. Once again, if you know, you know. Some creamer for coffee. Again, I like to have some canned soups and chilies on hand for lunches as well, and we were out. Over here now is one of the meals we'll be having when my friends are here, Anna and Marissa. So whatchamacallit, tortillas, ground beef, and then like all just stuff for tacos. So I think there's like a tomato in there, jalapeno and limes, Greek yogurt, which I use for yogurt bowls, but also as a sour cream substitute. So that's for the taco night. Tortilla chips, and then over here is another dinner for later when it's just, or later in the week when it's just Tyler and I. But we've got ground turkey, zucchini, and mushroom. I do like a little stir fry thing to put over rice. And then this is another kind of lunch option for when Anna and Marissa are here. So chicken over this elote salad mix from Trader Joe's that's super good. And then over here, we've got the freezer stuff. Tyler loves these ice cream sandwiches and these mac and cheeses, so I just always have those on hand. And then I like to have some of the Trader Joe's freezer meals just for a night where we don't have anything planned. Our favorite is the orange chicken and then the vegetable fried rice. I try not to do these more than once a week, if even that, just because they're not as healthy as like, you know, something I would make at home, but they're a great option when you're in a pinch. Look at that, we made it through the grocery haul and little man is now asleep. It's only gonna be like a 30-minute nap before he needs to eat again at this point, but that is okay. A little nap is better than nothing. And I think I might try to make myself a quick lunch, get these groceries put away, and maybe put on makeup before he wakes up. Let's see what we get done. I heated myself up some lentil vegetable soup, also grabbed an Olipop, and then I do want to make a smoothie too, but I'm definitely going to wait to use the blender until he's awake. So I try to just kind of strategize my day. So like right now he's asleep in the carrier, so it's like what can I do standing up, because he does not like to sit down in it, and I can stand up and do my makeup, so that's what we're going to do. Just typical mom life, eating some cold soup and about to slap on the rest of my makeup while baby boy does some tummy time.
Hi, Mamas. You Mama's little bestie. Oh, I love you. I love you. Oh. Oh. Oh.
And this one's a whale, like Jonah. Like the story of Jonah. And another little fishy.
Hi, Bubba's. We're gonna do some reading. Yeah. Yeah. That smile is the best thing in the world. It's the best thing in the world. Yeah. Okay. No, the Bible isn't a book of rules or a book of heroes. The Bible is most of all a story. It's an adventure story about a young hero who comes from a far country to win back his lost treasure. Oh, are we all finished? Are we all finished reading? Are we all finished reading? That's okay. We'll read more later, huh? We'll read more later. Yeah.
So I've really been enjoying taking Judah for walks. Honestly, I never used to go for walks before having him, but now having him, it's really nice because I can put him in this little bassinet attachment thing for the stroller. I'm not sure if you could see that because it's kind of shadowy, but he'll usually end up falling asleep and taking a nap. And then it's nice because it gets us both outside, gets me a little bit of exercise, and I can use this time to, sometimes I'll call a friend and catch up. Sometimes I'll respond to voice texts. I've taken work calls while doing this little walk before, or simply use the time to pray. So it's really sweet. We've been doing it, I would say probably at least 3 times a week. And we do a pretty long walk. We'll walk for like at least an hour, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite things. And so I was really hoping we would get to go for a walk today, but I wasn't sure because it was pouring this morning, like torrential downpour. It did say that it was supposed to clear up this afternoon, but I was honestly a little doubtful. But here we are, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, we're doing our little walk. I did end up making a green smoothie. Honestly, I feel like I make my smoothies a little bit different every time, but this one had frozen banana, frozen spinach, frozen mango, frozen strawberries. Ah, there's a bee, I don't like bees. Frozen strawberries, what else? Flaxseed, that was me like shying away from the bee. Flaxseed, protein powder, and coconut water, and it's really good. But if you have a favorite smoothie recipe, comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Tyler should be home from work in just a little bit, and then we're gonna head out to our small group. So I'm gonna heat up some pasta that I made last night. But before I do, I want to have a little heart chat. So for the small group, we've actually been going through a book. I have it right here. It's The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. And Tyler and I actually both read this book before we started dating, so it's been really sweet to go through it again together now. But he was reading it out loud for both of us last night because I was feeding Judah and we hadn't read the chapters for this week yet. And what we were reading through last night was talking about Sabbath, and basically it was just saying how in every sort of like marketing ad, the principle of like rest and leisure is actually used to sell things. So maybe if it's like an ad for a watch, you might see a picture of a man lounging on a chair in his sun reading a book and he's wearing the watch. Or maybe if, you know, they're trying to sell bedding or something, it's a picture of a slow Saturday morning with breakfast in bed and these beautiful bed sheets. And he was saying that marketers know that like psychologically it's powerful to use this idea of leisure to sell things, because at our core we all crave this. We all crave rest and just being able to stop and enjoy life. And he was saying the irony though is that we don't need, you know, a fancy new watch or a fancy new bedding to experience leisure or rest. We can experience it at any point when we simply just stop, and scripture actually commands us to do this. And in, you know, this concept of a Sabbath, where one day a week we're taking time to take a break from our work and to intentionally rest and to worship the Lord and to trust that He is holding all things. And so as Tyler was reading this last night, I told him that like it really was just resonating with me and really helped put words to something that I feel like I've been learning really since having Judah. So like all of my motherhood experience so far that I've been trying to process through. And I was just telling him how, you know, I feel like before having Judah, especially with working a full-time job, so if you didn't know, I work in like a communications role for a utility, and then also doing YouTube and content and being really involved at our church, especially when we were up in the Bay. I feel like I was almost just constantly in a state of fight or flight, of just like trying to hustle and get things done and just trying to cram as much as I could into each day and almost racing against the clock to finish it all. And I feel like you know, in that season, I would have never let myself take a break in the middle of the day to go for a walk because it felt unproductive, and it felt like, you know, I'll rest or I'll stop to just be and enjoy life. Like once I do this, whether that's, you know, at the end of the day, once I finish my list of things to do, I'll sit down at 8 o'clock finally and maybe enjoy a show with my husband, or yeah, like once I get to this stage in life or have achieved this, then I'll stop. Right now I gotta hustle and go. And I feel like it would be my temptation to continue that mentality now in motherhood and continue to just have like this hustle mentality and not letting myself stop and be and appreciate and simply just enjoy the life that God has given me. But the grace in it is that I look at my son, who is quite literally growing before my eyes, and I feel like it's just created this resolve in me of like, this is the good part. Like these are the good days. In my entire life, I wanted to be married and have a husband and be a mom and have kids, and like that is the season I'm in right now, and I refuse to just hustle it away and to not stop and be present in it and enjoy it, because I know that it's gonna go so fast. And so I was telling Tyler, I feel like that's something that God is really growing me in, just the ability to stop and to go for a walk in the middle of the day. And sure, of course, there's still things that need to get done, but you know, being fully present when it's awake time and I'm on the floor doing tummy time with Judah, or when I'm going for a walk, just allowing myself to pray and connect with the Lord and feel my soul just filled and stilled. And yeah, sometimes the walks are still productive if I'm doing like a work call or responding to texts or whatever, but I feel like that's something that I have really just been beginning to grow in, and there's so much life in it, realizing that life is available right here and right now, not just once I get to this thing or once I achieve this thing. And I feel like the reason why that was so hard for me before, and even like something I struggle against now, is honestly, I feel like I've been realizing that some of these things are idols for me. And I did, as I've been kind of realizing that, I have already confessed those things to Tyler, my husband, and also to some close friends in my life, because scripture, James 5:6 says that when we confess our sins to one another and pray for one another, then so that we may be healed, that we find healing through that act of confession. And so I have already confessed these things to close people in my life, and I really don't need to be confessing them here on YouTube, but I'm choosing to, because I feel like this might resonate with some of you, and just wanted to share how God's working through it in my own life. But I feel like I've realized that, you know, I've talked before about how I'm an achiever. I love checking things off the to-do list and getting things done, but I think that achievement can be an idol for me. And I'm also realizing that I think money can be an idol for me. And to kind of just explain that a little bit more, as you're watching this video, this week is actually supposed to be my first week back from maternity leave. So this entire time since Judah was born, and actually even like a month before he was born, I've been on paid maternity leave for my full-time job, which has been such a blessing to have so much time. And my company does though also offer the option of extending your maternity leave for another 6 months unpaid, but you have job protection. And so as I have been sort of approaching this deadline of maternity leave being over, Tyler and I have been having a lot of conversations and just really realizing that, man, this time with Judah is so precious and time that I will never get back. And like, yeah, he's just still so little. And also like on the practical side of things, sleep is still super inconsistent and hit or miss and stuff. And so we were just talking about it, and we're like, you know what, if we have the ability to, I should extend, and I should take that time to be with Judah and have this time that I'm never going to be able to get back. And so for the very first time, starting in April, for the very first time literally since I graduated college 8 years ago, it'll be the first time that I won't be getting a paycheck from this job that I've been at for a really long time. And honestly, we're gonna be totally fine. Like, we have Tyler's income, I have some income from YouTube and content stuff, and really the only difference is that we might not be able to save quite as much the next couple months. But even still in that, I feel like it's something I've been thinking about a lot, and just thinking through like, okay, we gotta, you know, try not to eat out as much, and we're maybe not gonna be saving as much, and just thinking through and worrying about some of those things. And I did just make an entire video on how not to worry, and just talking about worry from a biblical perspective. And one of the things I said in that video is that what we worry about reveals what we worship. And so just kind of in realizing that I have been thinking a lot about money even though we're gonna be completely fine, the question in there for me has been, well, what is that revealing about what I worship? And I think what I've realized is it's money not as an end in itself, but what I've shared before is that I really have a desire for a home, for a house. We have a home, obviously, but you know, I really love hosting people. I love homemaking. I love just creating a space that my family is going to be able to make memories in. And now having Judah especially, I think about like, yeah, just wanting a home where he can grow up and have these memories and be able to have friends over, and just this place where community can be built. And so I feel like I've been thinking about that more, because really the big difference in me not returning to work right now is not saving as much, and that affects, you know, the timing of when are we going to be able to look for a home. And the reason I wanted to share this is because, again, that desire in and of itself isn't a bad thing, and it's a good thing even, but when it becomes a thing that we're constantly thinking about, or an ultimate thing, that's when it crosses over into idolatry. And I feel like especially here on YouTube, we love sharing the end journey, you know, or the end part of the journeys where, you know, people are moving into their dream homes, or they're whatever, just sharing that beautiful dream home. But I feel like not as often do we share sort of the process, and more importantly, the contentment that the Lord teaches us in that process. Because the reality is that where we are right now, this condo, which I've shared before, Tyler's grandpa owns this and we're renting it from him. But this condo is literally the perfect place for the season of life that we're in, and we absolutely love it and would not change it. We love the area that we live in, we love the condo itself, and it's just something that literally brings me so much joy, getting to make this place a home. Now, would it be the perfect place for us, God willing, when we have multiple kids and they're older and they're running around? Probably not. But why am I spending time worrying about needs that I may have in the future that are not needs that I have right now, when God has met every single one of the needs that I have right now in abundance? And so I don't know if that even really makes sense, but I really just wanted to share that, because I've been realizing that some of those things I think can be an idol for me, just achieving, and money at times, as icky as that feels to admit. But I think God's really doing a lot in my heart to teach me that, you know, life isn't enjoyed once you're in the dream home with the kids and the husband, or whatever it is that you may be longing for. Like, we can experience life and peace and rest in Him right now when we follow the way of life that He's laid out for us, whether that's abiding in Him, spending time with Him like He talks about in John 15, whether that's implementing this boundary of Sabbath or rest that He talks about all throughout the Gospels and that Jesus models for us. Like, we can experience abundant life when we follow the way He's called for us to live and laid out for us in Scripture, when we follow that right now. And yeah, it's not bad to long for the things we long for, whether it's, you know, again, a career or a spouse or kids or a house or whatever. We can pray for those things and work towards those things, but also practice contentment for exactly where God has us right now, and realizing that He has met every single one of those needs. And so that's just something that I have been thinking about a whole lot, and I hope that it could just, I don't know, be an encouragement to you, speak into whatever it is you're going through right now. This just got really long, so I'm gonna stop talking, but I'll show you some little clips from the rest of our evening, and I never know how to end these things. When Daddy gets home.
My baby boy.
Aww.
My baby boy. Hi. You kissing Daddy.
You eating Daddy's nose. Yeah.
You eating Daddy.
Eating Mommy's nose.
Okay, are you ready to eat? Are you?
Should Mama
Have
feed
you
you?
been teased enough?
Should Mama stop kissing you and start feeding you?
Enough teasing.
We got home from small group a little bit ago, just put baby boy down, and I just worked out, which is why there's all this glistening on my face. And you've been working on music stuff for the church?
Yep.
Nice. Well, I was gonna close out this vlog, but I figured I'd invite Ty on to share any thoughts about Sabbath, because we did discuss it tonight, so I was just sharing with the vlog what I was telling you last night, my processings about Sabbath. So
Nice.
I wanted to see if you wanted to share any of your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that sticks out to me about Sabbath is, do they know that we're reading Ruthless Elimination of Hurry?
Yeah.
Did you know that? Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So I can tee it up that way.
There you
Perfect. So as Kaci told you, we're going through this Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and one of my favorite parts of the Sabbath chapter is when John Mark talks about Sabbath as resistance.
John Mark, on a first name basis, you know.
Always been.
Go ahead.
So yeah, when John Mark Comer talks about Sabbath as resistance and this idea of Israel leaving Egypt, literal slavery, and going into the promised land, and God gives them the gift, or reminds them of the gift of Sabbath, because it was originally set up in Genesis, of course. And you know, if you remember the Exodus story, they quickly want to go back to slavery in Egypt, and they're like, what, like, why are we wandering in the desert? You know, and of course they don't know what amazing thing God has for them coming up. But so God institutes the Sabbath to set up a reminder, a weekly reminder. It's one of the many purposes of Sabbath, is a weekly reminder of the freedom from slavery in Egypt. It's like slavery, or in Egypt, you were slaves, you didn't get any days off. You were constantly working crazy long days, 7 days a week. Now, me, your good God, who also demonstrated this himself, you know, is like, hey, I want you guys to have a day of rest every single week. And, you know, of course, us in the Western world, in America, we're not slaves to somebody else, but a lot of times we end up slaves to another master, the master of ambition and the master of desire, the master of productivity, and we're just so driven by that in America, especially. Productivity is king, right? And it's easy, we don't even realize it, that we're actually slaves to productivity and how ingrained this is in our culture. And so Sabbath is really countercultural to us, and it is truly resisting that idol of productivity, that idol of my worth is in what I do and what I create and all of that, and setting that aside and being like, Lord, one, I trust you to provide, but also, like, my identity is not in what I do, and I'm also not a slave to that. I don't have to keep up with the productivity of the world that's just gone crazy, out of whack, and is just beyond any real human capacity. I'm not a slave to that. I am a son or daughter of the King, and because of that, I am absolutely set free. And he who the Son sets free is free indeed.
Bam.
That was way longer than Kaci wanted me to go for, but I told her to be careful.
I just told him that the vlog was already long, but you know, we're just rolling with it at this point. And I was smiling when you were talking about idolatry to productivity, because you didn't even know that that's like probably what I'm going to title this video, because that's a big part of what I was talking about in my little
had no
heart
idea.
chat.
She's not
He
making
didn't
that
know.
up.
Anywho, so we'll just leave it off that, because
Sweet.
this is already probably super long, but hopefully you found this vlog encouraging. Thanks for hanging out with me today and with me and Tyler tonight. If you enjoyed this video, what do they do?
Thumbs up, ring the bell, like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.
See ya.